Good evening. It's Saturday night, the 21st of November, and day 325. That's 325 of my journey to business alignment. Today certainly was a day of living the dream. I'll explain why in a minute. Every time I finish another task and manifest it into the world of the physical, it's a living the dream day. For my power statement, I said, I'm going to organize the remaining task list while the Ontoport folks work on getting those two little issues fixed for me. And then I will follow up with Fahad on Monday to have him get this member login piece done and all set up. Once it's done, I'll test it. And then I'll reach out to Ontoport to take advantage of my 2 hours of onboarding support to get those order pages done. That sounds like a lot, I know, but if I understood things correctly, getting that member login piece done using the little code link I sent to Fahad shouldn't be that difficult. It seems to be a simple task. At least that's what Anthony said. The same for the two fixes on my welcome email. But we shall see, won't we? Anyway, here's my to-do list that I had for today. Right there for Saturday. The highlighted ones are all done. Done. Way to go, Marty. My most important task for today was to organize and prioritize, I should say reprioritize, remaining tasks list that I have. My fun task for today was to finish doing more of the remaining tasks, to get that done and actually starting checking things off as I get them done. And my exciting task for today was to start a campaign steps to coincide with the flow chart. In other words, the campaign flow chart and the steps on each one of those steps in the flow chart, and listing the video links that the little Zoom videos that the chat folks helped building out, so when I come back I have it all there ready to go. Because Fahad wasn't available to work on his couple of tasks and Ontoport didn't get back to me about the footer picture issues today, I went ahead and organized my remaining Ontoport task list, once again reprioritizing them, and more importantly starting to get some of those done while those things are in the limbo. Okay, next, let's go through my end of the day success routine questions. Get honest with yourself, Marty. What didn't go well today? Or in other words, what could you have done better today? Did you make up and wake up and wake up early even and start your day strong by the blast of cold water on your face? I did. For a Saturday, 7 in the morning's early. Did you start your morning with power? Absolutely. When the day routine is a day launch of power, no question. Were you productive throughout your day? Yes. Did you get the most important things done? I did get those things started and reprioritized and started to be checking them off. Did you move your goals forward? Pieces through the portal of the mind, manifest into the world of the physical. How? Through action, through tasks. Did you show up as the person you wanted to show up today? I did. What about your personal time with Catherine? Well, it was Saturday afternoon and evening with her, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I was present for her. She was present for me. Next are my end of the day success routine accountability questions that I've added. Were you honest with yourself about today's task, Marty? In other words, did you keep your promises that you made to yourself this morning? Well, because it was a Saturday today, I just promised myself that I would work through the morning and early afternoon, and then I decided that I would take a break and watch a BYU play North Alabama. I'm not a serious fan of either BYU or Utah, the Utes. They disappoint me too many times in past years. Sorry about that. But it's a nice break to focus on something other than work. You know what I'm talking about. And so, bam, done. That's what I did. The next question is, what movies did you watch during your mindfulness time today, Marty? Did you make time for them? And were there any new instant pre-play movies that your two amigos called up onto the screen in your mind? If so, what were they about? Well, this morning during my Win the Day routine, I watched all 5 of my must-see TV favorite 5 movies, like I do every single morning. I then took a little time and imagined people landing on my website and going through the public pages, clicking here and watching this video, clicking there, and then seeing the I'm ready to take my next step button and seeing them click on that and landing on the membership payment options page. There's 2 options, annual and monthly. I watched them click on one of those options and it took them to the order sign up form, which they filled out everything and clicked submit. Bam, a new client. I then watched them go to their email inbox and seeing the thank you email sitting there, and in other words, the thank you for joining email and the welcome email with their login credentials, including their password. I watched them click on that URL and it taking them to the website, and then clicking on the member login, click, and filling in the fields of their email address for the username and then their password that we're provided with. And it opened up to the back end pages, the private member pages, where all the content is, and etc. It's so exciting seeing it work as though it's already live and working right here and now. I can't wait until it's actually live and having real people sign up and become actual members of our Living the Dream coaching community. So exciting. My next question says, what's the one thing that would make all the difference going forward? What one thing can I do better tomorrow and going forward? Well, I think the one thing that I can do to improve on things going forward is to keep on doing the other tasks, staying with that I still have to do while the Ontaport system integration goes through all of its bumps and hiccups and delays until it is done working. And once it's done and working, that's when I'm going to call to get my 2 hours of support. Anyway, here's my power statement that I have for tomorrow. I'm going to focus on sharpening my saw tomorrow so that I can set the table for Monday and that week to have a successful week. The next question I'm going to ask now is my end of the day success routine question of, were there any mistakes or failures that you may have had today that you can turn into a tool of success going forward, Marty? Well, I worked on my other remaining task list and focused on those details most of the day, at least up until about 1 p.m. when BYU game came on. So I really didn't make any mistakes that I can think of, nor did I have a failure doing that either today. And by 1 o'clock, I was couch potato, little chips or whatever, and watching the game. The next question is, what was your biggest success today, Marty? In other words, what did you do well today? What can I do better? What did you do well? Well, my biggest success today was being able to look into the mirror, hello, and ask the boss if I could have the rest of the day off at 12:45 noon going forward. And I looked at me, the boss, and I said, you bet. I have to tell you, retirement's great. Anyway, my next end of the day success routine question asked me to rate my day's effort. I decided to give today's effort a 5, and that's not because I didn't work hard. It's because I only worked up to speed of 10 for half a day. I still was a productive person throughout the entire day, so it was a productive, successful day, but only half a day, so I cut the points in half. Okay, I want to end the day strong. Here's what I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for the principle that says, when faced with difficult, painful questions because of difficult circumstances, one should ask better questions versus the obvious, simple questions. What do I mean? Well, when Tony Robbins was faced with bankruptcy because one of his close employees embezzled $250,000 from him and left that company $760,000 in debt, he chose to ask a better question. Rather than accepting all the comments around him saying, you need to go bankrupt, you need to take out bankruptcy, and asking, what should we sell first as we liquidate and file for bankruptcy? He asked, how can I turn this around? In doing so, he received a better answer that helped him save his company. He even asked an even better question than that. How can I turn my company around, take it to the next level, and cause it to have even more impact than it ever had been doing in the past? What a question. Facing bankruptcy. At first, he says he didn't get the answer he wanted. Initially, it was, there is no way to turn this around. But he kept asking with intensity and expectation. He asked, how can I add even more value and help even more people while I sleep? How can I reach even more people in a way that is not limited to me physically being there even while I sleep? With these questions being sent out into the universe that I call the 3 minds, going out there and bringing back support material and supportive affirmation that this is what you need to do, he sent out to the universe. Tony's 3 minds aligned, and they attracted the idea of his franchise operation in which more people could represent him across the country. And 12 months later, he came up with the idea of producing a television infomercial, an answer that he received from that same burning, intense question. Because he asked the question with intensity and with expectation, Tony created and distributed over 7 million tapes worldwide, developing relationships with people all over the world and enjoying meeting tens of thousands of those people and touching their lives in a big, big way. Incredible questions, right? These principles lead to the next thing I'm grateful for, the law of thought management. which simply says, you and I have the power at our disposal every moment of the day to change our destiny and the destiny of all those around us. At any moment, the questions that we ask ourselves through our thought management can shape our perception of who we are, what we're capable of, and what we're willing to do to achieve our dream. Learning to manage our thoughts, to consciously control the questions we ask ourselves, will take us further to achieving our ultimate destiny than almost anything I know. The resources in our mind are limited only by the questions we ask ourselves, meaning our thought management. Are the kind of questions that you're asking yourself, is the thought management you're asking going to release that power that's within us that's called the plus factor? Keep in mind that our personal beliefs affect the questions we're even willing to ask ourselves. Most people would have never asked themselves, how can I turn this around? Simply because everyone around them was telling them and telling him, it is impossible. You're crazy, Tony. That would send disempowering thoughts of limitation, making them feel it was a waste of their time and energy to try and do something about it. That's what happened to folks who can't ask those kind of questions. Again, if we're not careful to keep from having limiting questions, we will end up with limiting answers. The power statement, I believe it's possible, is important here. I've talked about that. The only thing that limits our questions is our belief about what it is and what it isn't possible. So create a better it's possible kind of question, and you'll get back a better, more possible kind of answer. That's why I talk about it's possible. I believe in that principle that we confirm it every day, negatively or positively. The right kinds of better questions is key. Next, I'm grateful for Voltaire, who said, judge a man by his questions rather than by his answers. Here are some examples of great, even better questions like I'm talking about. What is great about this problem? What about this is not perfect yet? What am I willing to do to make it the way I want it? What am I willing to no longer do in order to make it the way I want it? How can I enjoy the process while I do what is necessary to make it the way I want? In other words, how can I enjoy making 100 sales calls in a day? I know people who have to go into an office and make 100 dials a day, and they hate it. Well, the idea to jump into a jacuzzi and take your laptop and speakerphone and call away while you bubble away, that's a better answer to a better decision or a better question, right? So ask a better question and you'll get a better answer, period. Well, I think I'll stop here. It's late. I'm kind of tired. I'm stumbling a little bit. But just know I'll be right back here tomorrow night at my laptop, sharing my feelings in my video journal entry that I do every day. I've done for 325 nights. I'm so excited. But until then, I wish you continued success. Good night.